via Zoom, where our student government leadership can share current happenings and reports. I'm Chief of Staff Hannah Rhymes, and tonight we're going to be talking about a variety of topics, including meal swipe sharing, ASUW elections, and some wonderful financial wellness events that are coming up very soon. We will be leaving some time at the end for questions, and you can submit those questions by typing them into the chat in the Zoom room, or you can leave a comment on our Facebook live stream. And if you are in the Zoom room, you can also unmute yourself and ask a question during the open forum section. I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Directors Berg and Marianum, and they're going to talk to you a little bit about Financial Literacy Month events.
Hello, everyone. My name is Santosh, and with me is my co-chair, CJ Berg. Both of us are hosting a bunch of Financial Literacy Month events in the upcoming weeks, and we just wanted to talk about how amazing everything is going to be. Next slide, please. So what is financial wellness? So financial wellness, simply put, is the ability to understand your money. More specifically, it's just a skill that you need to develop while in college so that you can manage your adult money once you graduate from it. Our goal is mainly just to provide you with the education, training, and all the resources that will help you understand how to live below your means and not to exceed it. More information about this can be also found on the website link below. Next slide. So I'm going to hand it over to CJ, who's going to talk about a fun game that we're going to play right now.
Yeah, so any of you who are tuning in or might be watching this later, the first 5 people who watch this TNT Town Hall and shoot us an email after they've completed registering for our events, Goose Chase, and our financial newsletter will win a swag bag with $20 gift cards. So keep your eyes peeled for the QR codes that'll be coming in the next few slides. And be sure to register for those events, Goose Chase, and the financial newsletter. And then once you've done that, you can just email either me or Santosh. That's our emails are there on the slide, and let us know that you heard about all of our Financial Literacy Month events on TNT and that you have finished all of those, and we'll go ahead and verify, and then we'll get you a swag bag with $20 gift cards, mugs, portable chargers, blankets, all kinds of stuff. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So just kind of a brief overview of our events. I'm just going to kind of go over them really quick right now, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail in the upcoming slides. So this is kind of our overall event poster. You can see that we have about 10 events planned. We have the scavenger hunt over the Goose Chase app. That's free for all students, and the grand prize is $550. We have a budgeting workshop, credit score workshop, intro to investing presentation that talks about some apps that are free to use, a banking career panel, cybersecurity, how to adult, ISS, a comedian, Colin Ryan coming, and some financial trivia. So we have a lot of stuff planned, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in these next few slides. So the first week of Financial Literacy Month is going to be the week starting with the 15th. And our first event is going to be a budgeting workshop. So that we will actually have 2 different budgeting workshops. On Tuesday, we'll have one at lunch, and that one will be over Zoom, and it will be led by UniWyo. It'll be very interactive, and it'll force you to kind of be very reflective on budgeting and where you kind of have some weaknesses on where you spend your money. And then on Thursday, Santosh and I will be leading an in-person presentation talking about all the different things that students need to know about budgeting and why it is important. And so both of these presentations will be different, so you can attend one or both. You'll get something out of it if you attend either. And you can just go ahead and scan that QR code on the slide if you want to sign up for that. But I would definitely recommend it. And you can go ahead and go to the next slide. And I think, was this my slide or your slide, Santosh?
Yeah, slide, you can just go ahead.
Okay. So our second week of financial wellness, we'll have a credit score workshop. That's going to also be led by UniWyo, and they're going to talk about student loans, credit cards, credit scores, all of that stuff that you've ever been wondering about credit and why it matters, why it's important. And it'll be covered by the bank. So that's really useful information to have because you don't normally get that insider perspective on credit. And then Santosh and I will be leading an intro to investing presentation where we will be looking at some apps that are free to use, like Robinhood, which you've probably seen a lot in the news recently, Mint, and a couple other apps that are free for students that help you just manage money, think about money, invest. And we'll be doing kind of a very brief introduction to investing to show you that it's really not as scary as you might think. And the exciting thing about that intro to investing presentation is that it will also be over Zoom and in person. So if you're looking for some in-person events, we have a couple for you. And I'll go ahead and pass it off to Santosh to talk about the rest of the weeks of Financial Literacy Month.
Yeah, so during week 3, we'll have a banking career panel. This is one of our bigger events as well. We'll have a panel of Univaya employees. So we'll have a person from each of the departments: HR, marketing, a bank teller, a manager, the CEO might also be coming to this event. So we'll have someone from each department. So the reason we're hosting this event is to open options for students who might be thinking of a career in banking and looking at all the opportunities you might have over there. In the same week, we'll also have a cybersecurity presentation. This will focus more on how to protect your identity, your social security number, what steps you can do to be safer in the online world, now that most of the banking that we do is online, and how to be safe and avoid having your identity stolen. Next slide, please. So in our last week, we have an International Students Finances workshop. So this workshop is tailored for international students and talking about all the problems and solutions that international students might face. So one thing that we're going to talk about are loans that require co-signer versus loans that do not require co-signers, credit cards for international students and how to apply them, and some healthy uses of that, and just general budgeting. So I'll have a little bit of all of our events. Even if you're not an international student, please attend this event. It'll be very useful for everyone in general. Lastly, I'll hand it over to CJ to also talk about the How to Adult presentation.
Yeah, so we'll have a How to Adult presentation. It'll be a panel of a whole bunch of career services groups coming in and talking about, all the different things, all the questions you've been wondering about, what it's like to be an adult out on your own. Here we are for the first time, kind of out there in the world by ourselves. And it's just kind of how to interact with professionals. So we'll have people in the banking industry, people who prepare taxes. We'll have some people who do insurance, and hopefully a couple other career fields just come and talk about, here's what I wish I knew when I was a client and not the professional. And things that, common mistakes that they have, that they see in their areas and their respective fields, and how you can learn from that and avoid that. So not only will it be a really great opportunity to get some self-growth, but it'll also be a really great networking opportunity to hear about some of the culture of these different career fields and kind of learn about what it's like to actually be a professional in those areas in case you're thinking about, going into any of those fields. So definitely be a worthwhile event, and I hope you will attend that. And so all of Financial Literacy Month is going to culminate in this last big event that will be really, really great. It's going to be Courageous Finance featuring Colin Ryan. And Colin Ryan actually came to campus a couple years ago, and he was great. We heard a lot of great feedback from students from that. And so we wanted to bring him back. He's a comedian who talks about finance. And so he talks about finance in a way that it's, across the board, anyone can understand it and talk about the different relationships that we have with money. Are you scared to spend money? Do you overspend? He kind of forces you to look into yourself in a funny way, and just, really great presentation. And if you don't attend any of these events that we've been planning, attend this one at least, because we've put a lot of effort into this. And I know Colin is really excited, and he's been working on and preparing what he's going to do for this event for a couple months now. So I know it will be great. And then over the whole month, we have an event, Goose Chase, going on. I'll let Santosh talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so something that's happening throughout the whole month, like CJ mentioned, is our Goose Chase. We had a similar scavenger hunt during the fall semester as well, but this time we made it bigger and better. We have more cash prizes, so the top 10 places do get a cash prize, and other than that, we also have 25 swag bags. We'll also be giving out random winners each week a swag bag as well. All you need to do is scan the QR code to sign up. We'll have 2 missions a day for 4 weeks. So it'll go from February 10th to March 12th, if I don't have my dates mixed up. But yeah, we'll have 2 missions a day, Monday to Friday. All you need to do, and there'll be fairly short missions as well. All you need to do is finish the missions and you'll be on top of the leaderboard and you can win a grand prize of $550. And the only reason it's that low is because of tax, and we had to cap it off at $550. But yeah, everything from the first to 10th place also has some sort of a cash award to it. Next slide, please. Something else that I realized over my 4 years at the university is that there isn't a newsletter or any email whatsoever talking about finances at the university and the financial resources available at the university. So we really wanted to fix that, and we created a newsletter just for all of the students at this university. It'll have all of the upcoming financial events, all of the free resources on campus. The first thing that comes to mind is the Wellness Center and all of the free stuff that they give out throughout the year. They have free fruits and massage chairs that most people might not know about. So we'll have those kinds of free resources available. And then all of the financial aid and FAFSA and everything related to finances and how to apply for them, tips and tricks, and some state resources as well. So sign up for, all you have to do is scan the QR code, go to the website and just enter your email address and we will send the newsletter to you. Next slide, please. So if you wanted to be a part of, if any of this sounds interested, and if you wanted to join our team for financial wellness, all you need to do is go to that link and there's an application for the Wellness Ambassadors program, and financial wellness is also part of that. In your application, just mention that you wanted to be a part of financial wellness. There'll be a small interview just talking about your interest and all the requirements that you need. Or you could just take my job when we leave in April. That can be really fun too. So it's up to you. Anyway, next slide. I do see a couple of questions, but I'll answer them during our open forum time. If you go to the next slide, it has the links to all of our events. If you could leave this on for a couple of seconds for people to view at it, and then I'll be done. Thank you, everyone. I hope you register for all of our events. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email CJ or I.
Thank you, CJ and Santosh, so much. We do have a couple of questions incoming for you guys, but I will wait on that until the open forum portion of this episode. For now, we are going to go ahead and turn things over to our wonderful friends in the Sustainability Coalition, Javon and Olivia, and they're going to tell you about a new meal swipe sharing program on campus.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Olivia.
I'm Javon.
And we're just going to tell you a little bit about our new meal swipe sharing program. So this program is a meal swipe sharing program at Washakie Dining Center. It's an initiative to reduce student food insecurity at the university, and it's a partnership between ASUW, the Sustainability Coalition, and the UW Food Security Task Force. So a little bit about the program. One of ASUW's goals for student success is reducing food insecurity at the university. And so this program specifically addresses the 18.7% of UW students experiencing very low food security, which means that they must skip or reduce meals. And so these meals are loaded onto student Y01 IDs, and then they can go to Washakie Dining Center at any time that it's open and just get a meal for free. And all you have to do to be a part of this program is apply with our online form, which is on the next slide.
Yeah, so as Olivia stated, all you have to do to enroll in this program is to sign up for our application. You can scan this QR code to get started, or if you don't have accessibility to that right now, you can go to the Dean of Students webpage and go to Student Resources, and there you'll find the application for the Meal Swipe Share program, as well as information regarding other food resources like the UW Food Share Pantry on that website. And in addition, students who not only students that want to apply for this program, but also students that are interested in donating for this program can access the application and state within the application that they want to donate these meals. The idea is that this will be a shared basis, like a rolling basis for meal sharing food bank. So these meals will be used for years to come. And we hope that there's enough donations from students and from outside entities where the Meal Swipe Share program can go on for a long time and help alleviate this food insecurity problem that students at UW face. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Javon and Olivia, for sharing that. I will likely have some questions for you during the open forum portion. For now, we're going to turn things over to reports and communications, and we're going to go ahead and get started with President Talamantes.
Thanks, Hannah, and hello everyone that is watching or listening. I have a fairly short report for you tonight. Mainly just been doing some university and administrative things, but I do have some exciting news. Last week, myself, VP Titus, Chief Rhymes, and our Director of Governmental and Community Affairs, Taylor Nielsen, we were invited to speak with Governor Gordon. He typically visits the university, and ASUW has a dinner with him where we check up on some of the efforts that he's been that we've been doing at the university. However, because of COVID this year, that unfortunately couldn't happen. But we were still very excited that he had some time in his schedule when he was visiting the university to come and speak with us and just check in to see what we've been doing, how the state can help students and all of that. And so we had the opportunity to discuss ASUW's COVID-19 informational campaigns. We shared a lot of the work that ASUW and the Food Security Task Force have been doing at UW. Our efforts on working with the Native American Education Research and Cultural Center on recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day at the university level. And finally, what the state can be doing to help students during the pandemic this year. So overall, it was a really productive conversation. President Seidel was also present, so we hope to follow up with him on some of these things that we discussed within the next month. And if you all are wanting some more updates on that, I would suggest tuning in to some of our Senate meetings at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. We also stream them on Facebook, but this is regularly where VP Titus and I and all the other directors will share some of the communications and things that we're doing at the university level. So that can also be a good time for you all to get this information. But lastly, the last thing that I will update you on is just how the program review process is going. I know you're probably really bored of me just dragging on about it, but it's a very important process that the university is currently undergoing. Myself and VP Titus sit on the program review committee, and we are in the process of making our recommendation to the provost. And then from there, the provost will make a recommendation to the president and the board of trustees as to how these programs should move forward in the next few months in their process of being reviewed. So we finished up some stuff this week, and at Senate on Tuesday and the following Tuesday, VP Tice and I will have some more updates on that front. But for you all right now, that's kind of the stuff that we're doing at the university level. And if you have any concerns, questions, just feel free to shoot me an email at asuwpres@uio.edu.
Thank you so much for those updates, Riley. We're going to go ahead and transition into reports from Vice President Titus, who is going to share some information with you about ASUW elections.
Thank you, Hannah. So I'm so excited to talk to you all about elections. This is the Elections Committee very first official outreach effort, and I put the link there on the top of this page. You can also Google ASUW UWYO elections, and this page will come up. This webpage is going to be the hub for all the information that you need for elections. If you're new to ASUW and just thinking about running, this website is basically going to be your holy grail. It's a chance for you to dig into all the necessary information, rules, and guidelines at your own pace. In this presentation, though, I'll give you an overview of everything you absolutely need to know, and I'll take your questions at the end if you have any at this time. So the Senate in its most basic form is 32 senators allocated by college. So you'll run for a seat in your college based on your major. For example, if you're an English major, you'll run for one of the 10 seats in the College of Arts and Sciences. The president and the vice president run on a joint ticket together. So if you're thinking about running for president and vice president, get your friend on board to be your vice president and you'll file together. HW elections happen every year in the spring. So we get a new administration with new president and vice president, a new cabinet or executive assistants, and an entirely brand new Senate. No previous HW experience is required to run an election. You can be brand new. The only thing that's required to run is you have to have a 2.0 GPA or be in good academic standing, no student conduct violations currently pending, and you need to have earned at least 24 credit hours or be a sophomore. So this is just another way to think about this step-by-step process. The first step that you need to take is, like I mentioned, going to the HW webpage. There you can look at HW's bylaws, our elections code, and be apprised of all of the rules and guidelines that you must abide by. The next step that you should take is attend one of our candidate outreach events. If you're tuning in right now, this already counts. We have a couple other exciting events coming up that I'll talk more about that are unique to this year that I'm really proud of the election committee for putting together. On that webpage that I mentioned 3 times already, you want to click the link to submit your application. This application is your intent to run. The main purpose of this is to make sure that we have everybody's name on the ballot, and so our advisor can check your eligibility per the requirements I just mentioned. The next thing you have to do after you submit your application is to attend the mandatory candidate orientation. This is a rule session to make sure that you're apprised of all of the rules that come along with your candidacy and your campaign. Then you can campaign until April, cast your vote, results are announced, and the winners of the election will be inaugurated and will meet and go through a transition process. So this is just a visual depiction of the timeline, pretty much everything that I've gone over with some important dates highlighted. So the elections code is approved by the HW Senate, and the first date that I'd like to bring to your attention is February 24th. That'll be our very first candidate outreach event, and it's a super unique event that I'm excited to host this year. It's HW speed dating, and it'll be a chance for candidates or prospective candidates to meet with more experienced HW folks, former senators, current senators, former executives, and current executives to learn more about HW and find your niche and what you want to get involved in. The next date I'd like to bring to your attention is March 3rd. This is another candidate outreach event that we have that's brand new. It's called Campaigning 101. Running a political campaign can be one of the most daunting tasks when it comes to running for AHW, and we recognize that not everyone who runs is a political science major and may not even be interested in that fact as much. So Riley and I will be mainly championing that workshop with some other tips from senators who've run successful campaigns. We'll give you the lay of the land of how to campaign successfully, what all goes into it, and how to protect your mental health in the meantime. The next dates that I'd like to bring to your attention are March 9th through 11th, right before our applications are due. We have some Why Should You Run in the HW Elections candidate outreach sessions. These are sort of our more traditional information sessions, but overhauled with the most important points that you need to know. So we'll be going over what you can get out of HW, what professional development and skills that you'll have when you leave, what you can put on your resume after this, what opportunities are available to you within HW and at the institutional level. I have a couple more dates to bring to your attention. March 12th is the magic number that you need to remember if you are considering running for Senate. This is the date that applications are due for all Senate seats and the president and vice president. And applications are due at 8 a.m. because following that evening is the mandatory candidate workshop session. Like I mentioned before, this is where you'll get an overview of all of the rules that you need to know, sign any model release forms, and get to know fellow candidates. All of our workshops and information sessions will be taking place over Zoom, if not in a hybrid form, because we do recognize some of the safety concerns that are still ever present with COVID-19, and we want to ensure that HW is accessible to students who may not be on campus right now, but do plan to be back in Laramie next academic year. And finally, the elections will be taking place April 12th through the 14th. And during this time, voting will be open and you can cast your vote in your college, and you can campaign your friends, peers, and classmates to vote for you as well within your college.
Thank you so much for those elections updates, Courtney. We're now going to move into the open forum. And just as a reminder, if you're in the Zoom room, you can send a private chat to me with a question. You can unmute yourself with a question, or if you're watching via the Facebook live stream, you can leave a comment on the live post. I am going to go ahead and rattle off some questions here. And the first question I have is for our finance directors. And the question is, does Financial Literacy Month happen every year, or is this just a one-time event?
So Financial Literacy Month does happen every year. We usually hold it in February. The actual Financial Literacy Month that's celebrated across the world is in April, but we like to do things a little quicker. So it is usually the first week of Feb to the last week of Feb. This year, due to Black History Month and the importance of all of that, and celebrating the culture, we did decide to push our events by a couple of weeks just to give them their space to host their events as well. So this year, yeah, we did push it by a couple of weeks, but yeah, every year it happens during February.
Thank you for that info. And another question for our finance execs. Are all students eligible to win the cash prizes?
Yes, all full-time students are eligible, or full-time/fee-paying students are eligible to win all of our prizes. But our events are open to all of the public and all of the students as well.
Fantastic. Our next question is for our Sustainability Coalition interns. And that question is the meal swipe sharing program only for students living on campus, or can you be an off-campus student?
Hi, thank you for the question. The Meal Swipe Sharing Program is open to all students who are enrolled in at least one credit hour. You cannot apply for the Meal Swipe Sharing if you already have a meal or like a dining plan at Washakie, but any other student, whether they live on campus or not, is eligible for the program.
Gotcha. Thank you for that input. My next question is actually for Courtney, and it's regarding involvement in ASUW. And this individual asks, why is it so valuable to get involved with student government?
Yeah, that's a great question. Especially, I know where you're coming from. AUCW can seem like a place for, political science majors or folks who are interested in law, policy, and the political arena. But it's so much more than that. I'm an English education major, and I never would have thought that AUCW would be my little home on this campus. But you can do pretty much anything you want within AUCW. You can learn the policy side of things. You can liaison with city council, the governor, and the state legislature, and have those powerful, high-reaching connections. You can also do more grassroots organizing and focus on meeting student needs. We have partnerships with the Sustainability Coalition and the Food Security Task Force, and a lot of other initiatives that meet students' needs in regards to wellness and safety. You can also serve on various committees where we tackle other things that students are interested and intrigued in. We also support student orgs. The list goes on and on. You can find your niche within AUCW. It's also great for professional development, networking, and so on and so forth. It's a really good chance to meet a lot of, big wigs per se within the university, within the state. You get to meet also a lot of really cool and like-minded peers. A lot of us have forged lifelong friendships and relationships from AUCW. So I really encourage you to join and just find what's in store for you.
Thank you so much for that, Courtney. I've got a couple questions left. We'll think of this as our last call for questions as we're coming to the end of this episode. My next question is once again for the Sustainability Coalition folks. And this person asks, can I volunteer my time to help work on the problem of food security at UW?
We have monthly meetings for the Sustainability Coalition, and so I don't know if they can see my chat, but you can email me at olyle@uyo.edu, and I can put you on the coalition listserv, and so you can attend meetings and get more engaged in the Sustainability Coalition's work. Or you can also get involved with the task force or just ASUW in general because they do so much of the work of food security with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. Once again, this is a last call for questions. I currently have just one more question left, and This can go up to any of the ASUW folks who'd like to answer. This individual asks, I have no experience in ASUW so far, but I would really like to get involved. Are you sure that I don't need prior experience to run?
Yeah, Hannah, I'd actually like to turn that question back to you and how you entered ASUW just this year.
Absolutely. I'm never on the receiving end of questions. So as I said at the beginning of this episode, I serve as chief of staff in this administration. My prior experience was working for Aztec, which is a program under ACW, but I had never served as a senator. I'd never served in the executive branch before. And really my motivation to join student government and make a difference was the pandemic. I saw that a lot of my community was struggling and really needed help. And I thought, well, here's one way that I can get involved. And I'm extremely grateful to have a fabulous team in the executive branch. And anybody who is interested in working in the exec branch or just getting involved in student government, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the lovely folks on this call. All right, seeing that we don't have any more questions, we're going to go ahead and bring this episode to a close. Thank you all for joining us for this installment of Talking with Talamantes and Titus. We hope that you'll join us for the next episode on February 18th. And ACW Student Government is working for you and with you, and that's why we're always excited to share updates with the Cowboy community. Hope to see y'all next time, and go Pokes.